Good afternoon, YouTube. I have to apologise about the weather on this video. It is raining. I've got an umbrella out so that I don't get my camera wet, but it means I have to keep the camera quite close. So, apologies. Right. So, I mean, you'll be able to tell from the title, I suppose, but the subject I've got for today, or this afternoon rather, is why are the Spanish and Mexicans, Argentinians, Colombians, all those people, right? Why are they so insecure about their own history, right? Because I always notice this thing where there's this map. It gets shared a lot in some of the map groups that I like, because I like maps. There's politics and stuff as well, and every time this map is shared, where it's a map of the largest empires in the world ever. So obviously, British Empire, number 1. So you can probably tell where I'm going with this, right? Mongol Empire, number 2. And every time, right? Every time, without exception, whenever this image is shared, there's always Spanish-speaking people in the comments trying to asterisk it, trying to diminish Great Britain's achievements because their empire was inferior, and it was inferior, right? I mean, you can have your opinion. I suppose let me know in the comments. If you're rude, obviously, you get put into oblivion and you don't get to comment ever again. But if you manage to word your opinion in a respectful manner, I'll read it. But yeah, the Spanish Empire was, the shadow of how great the British Empire was. And this guy I've just been interacting with, they must teach us some crazy stuff in Spain, because he believes that the British Empire was only 100 years long, but that's like Pax Britannica, which was the height of the British Empire, which was when we were world hegemon and nobody could challenge us. So that's from the Napoleonic Wars, early 1800s to early 1900s, the First World War. And they always seem to have this thing that there's more native speakers of Spanish than English. Who cares? English is lingua franca. You know what I mean? In other countries, they usually learn English if they aren't already an English speaker, because they need to. And one of the things is when I pointed this out, that English is lingua franca and the language of business. They always seem to say, oh, that's because of America. It's completely false, for one. I mean, the USA was a colony of Britain, so that still backs up my argument. And then not only that, English had already become lingua franca prior to that. It was prior to the First World War when English was lingua franca. And it was only during the Second World War, or maybe it was First World War. I forgot, actually. This date's escaping me at the minute. But obviously it was during that period when we gave the USA the monetary system. The USA didn't have to fight us for it like empires usually do, like when we wrested it from France. So that just points towards the fact that, obviously Great Britain and the USA have been allies pretty much from, at least since the First World War, I would say, but maybe a bit prior to that. I don't know. Maybe they just ignored each other during the American Algerian War and the American Filipino War, and while we were fighting Napoleon, etc. And we were going around abolishing slavery during Pax Britannica, that 100-year period, which was the greatest period in the world, to be honest. Great Britain birthed the modern world. We created the world that you now live in, that the USA then further pushed forward. It was our initial creation. We abolished slavery in that period. We exported English common law to most places that would accept it, and after looking at some of the legal systems in ex-Spanish colonies, English common law is definitely in every way superior to any kind of Spanish legal systems that were created. There's just no contest. I don't know why they can't have some humility and just admit it. That'd be like me now poo-pooing the USA and trying to say that the USA isn't as powerful as it is, or that the USA hadn't helped during World War II, or You know what I mean? It'd be like if I was doing that cringe stuff. Because the Spanish Empire, it's a bit odd though as well, because the Spanish Empire was it was, I'm forgetting the word at the minute, it was essentially replaced or knocked off to the top spot by France, and then we knocked France off the top spot. So it wasn't even us that really, you know, pummeled Spain into submission. We did obviously beat them in many wars. We took the Philippines from them, and then we took Cuba from them, and we swapped both of those for Florida. So for like 25 years, Florida was British at that point again. And then that was during the American War of Independence. And then after the 13 colonies fragmented off, we sold Florida back to Spain after that. And some of this might explain why Florida seems to have its own like crazy little culture, and sorry about that. It might have its own like microcosm of culture, we'll say. You know, the Florida man meme might come from the fact that it was like passed between Britain and Spain a few times before becoming American. Yeah, so it's just cope. So there's more native speakers. Like, who gives a shit? They're all from poor countries like Colombia, Venezuela, Uruguay, Argentina. I mean, who gives a fuck? All the English-speaking countries are all rich. UK, Australia, USA, New Zealand. You know, even other places that have high English proficiency, like Singapore. You know, I mean, what rich Spanish countries is there? Like, you know, the Dominican Republic in relation to the other Spanish-speaking countries is relatively okay, I suppose. You know, Argentina's doing a bit better now. I mean, Spain's obviously richer than all of them. But, you know, Spain spent much of it, like when I was younger in the 90s, essentially, Spain was essentially like a third world country, and they even admit that. Like, I'd spoken to Spanish people in this country in my teenage years who were Spanish, sorry, and they would say like, oh yeah, well, Spain's essentially just been like a third world country since Franco. So this is, don't get at me for saying that it was a third world country. This is what Spanish people told me. So sort the moustache out a bit. But, you know, and it's not like I don't want to poo-poo on the Spanish, because I kind of think of, I'm one of these weird people where I kind of think all European culture is, as a whole, is great and superior to anything else. It's superior to Asian culture, superior to African culture. You know, there's a reason that the European systems and moral systems and ethics were attempted to be spread around the world, even if it didn't, you know, exactly transpire as we wished in every location, you know, such as like obviously failed in Pakistan and India, and they seem to just be lost causes for being dragged into the first world. You know, India's doing good now, high GDP, but everybody's still poor. You know, 50% of people have still only got a toilet, or that might have just changed recently. I think it might go up to 50% or just over 50%. Either way, we, you know, the majority of our colonies, we actually did improve, whereas Spain pretty much didn't. It just extracted gold and whatever else, and like left people to suffer. Whereas, you know, we actually like built ports. I've talked to some Chinese guys who said that their ancestors had helped to build the ports in Beijing, I think he said. You know, as I said, we gave everybody English common law if they won't choose to keep it. I know Malaysia as English common law, and when I've compared the laws in Malaysia to surrounding countries like Indonesia and the Philippines, Malaysia has the best laws, easily. And my name is Adam the Afam, so if you're Filipino and you've come across this video, don't be insulted. I'm not trying to be mean about the Philippines, but I'm just speaking my mind, and I apologise about the cars. Oh my days, it's windy down here. Woo! Brolly is almost been taken out of my hand. I mean, it's not even really that windy, it's just I've got a brolly. Yeah, so I just find it a bit weird that the Spanish always have to get up in arms about it. I never see French people in these these comments. You know, there are obviously French nationalists who like to think that their empire was better. I've seen some of that a little bit. It doesn't seem to be anywhere near as bad as the Spanish. And I'm sorry, the French Empire was better than the Spanish Empire in my opinion as well. Like the Spanish Empire was like the template that everybody else followed. Portugal, Netherlands, Britain, or England at that time, France. And we obviously all improved on that template of which Spain cocked up, really. So I have no sympathy for Napoleon smashing your empire to bits. Absolutely no sympathy. Because your empire was shit. You know, and that's one of the many reasons I think countries like the Philippines, Venezuela, Colombia, they're all still, well, maybe Venezuela didn't used to be, sorry. But it is now again, but that's because of communism, not because of Spain. But I do think it's highly likely that had some of these colonies been like Dutch colonies, English colonies, and French colonies, they would have probably fared a lot better. And it speaks volumes that all the richest ex-colonies are all English-speaking colonies. I mean, come on. To try and presume that your rinky-dink, mainly contained to South America colony was superior to ours is absolutely insane. And I saw a comment saying that we colonised all the easy parts. Like what? India, China, Saudi Arabia. Like they're not easy places to conquer at all. And just on that side note, the Arabs really need to get a grip as well. So they like to blame England and France, or Britain and France, for everything that's happening there. Which, to be fair, the borders were drawn up a bit shitty. But at the end of the day, you can still resolve that yourselves. You know what I mean? It's not our fault if you're all like too arrogant to be able to negotiate with each other to change your borders around. I mean, that's your fucking issue. You've been independent for, like, what, almost 100 years now? Maybe not 100, maybe I'm getting a bit carried away, to be honest. 50 years, 60 years. And more than enough time to resolve these issues if you could all work together. But you can't, because Arabs don't all like each other. And this is something that gets lost. And I don't know if YouTube's even going to like this video, because I'm saying some pretty, I think pretty sweeping statements. But at the end of the day, we have to talk within the averages and sweeping statements. You know, it's all well and good for Spanish people to say that British people go abroad and they were a nuisance. That's a sweeping statement. It's not one that I contest. It's not like I'm going to pretend it didn't happen. But, oh no, all British people go to Spain and all well-behaved, good little chaps. Nobody does anything wrong. No, it's essentially what the Spanish are trying to do, or the Spanish speakers, so obviously Argentinians, Colombians, Uruguay, El Salvador. They oddly try to misrepresent history and facts as a form of cope. And I'm sorry for Spain, man. Your empire was shit. S-H-I-T, shit. Shit Spanish Empire. You know, and I don't want to say maybe the Filipinos wouldn't hate you so much still if you'd been better, because at the end of the day, the Indians seem to hate us, and we improved India just for them to like go and fuck it up. Like, I mean, one good thing is that the Filipinos did take care of the Spanish architecture that they built to some greater or lesser degree, whereas India, they have not respected the architecture we gave them at all. They've completely treated it with contempt, let it rot away, and the same's happened in Africa as well. And that might be because, Filipinos are Asian, so while they are more of the Malay type, and they're not like Sino, like the Chinese and Japanese, it might be that some of that concept of maintenance has been retained within the Filipino culture, and why they've managed to retain some of the Spanish architecture. Because obviously China and Japan are pretty good at maintaining things. China has a terracotta army, Japan has all these Shinto temples, so they're good at maintaining things. Whereas in, Middle East, Africa, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, these places aren't really good at maintaining things. They don't have that maintenance culture. And that's going to sound bad, but I've even witnessed a conversation with an African guy talking to other Africans about this. And even he said that you don't have a concept of maintenance, and that's why you don't have these nice things in your country anymore. And that's why We have that like suit of armour in the Royal Armouries Museum from an elephant. It's the last one in the world because we maintained it. India melted theirs down for scrap. So it belongs to us. It's purchased naturally, belongs to us. We took care of it. Just because you fucked all yours up doesn't mean you can come steal ours again now. Go get fucked. Yeah, so yeah, it's a funny one. It's a funny one, and it does speak to this like sort of cringe part of nationalism, because I think everything's got cringe aspects of it. Christianity's got cringe aspects. You know, obviously Judaism, Islam have got cringe aspects. Capitalism has cringe aspects. Communism has cringe aspects. Everything has cringe aspects, right? And nationalism has this kind of cringe aspect where you have to go out and bat for the team even when you don't even really need to. Like, he's telling Spanish people that they need to like go defend the Spanish Empire against being smaller than the Mongol Empire and British Empire. Right? Where is that weird notion coming from? And I just think it's because they're insecure, which is actually what I'm going to call the video, and I have forgotten to mention all the way through the video up to this point. But Spanish people are essentially very insecure. Or Spanish speakers, I keep saying Spanish, but I mean you all, even you in South America as well, and Mexico, Cuba, Caribbean. You know, I've got insecurity. You have this inferiority complex, which makes you lash out like I've seen the Indians do, and some of the Africans. And you have to lash out and like attack people you are obviously jealous of. And then all that makes me do is think, oh, maybe we are better then. Because I didn't used to think this way. You know, I was quite leftist. I was like, we're all equal, we're all just as good as each other. And then the more I interact with these cretins online, from other nationalities, I see the lies that they believe about their own country, about our country, right? The more I just think, maybe we are better than them. Maybe that's why Britain did conquer the entire world. Well, not entire world, that's a lie. You know, a third of the entire landmass, a quarter of the entire globe, if you include water. So, you know, maybe that's if we're round, I can't quite remember. But, yeah. Very insecure, very cringe, very coping sieve. And, yeah, I find it very strange, because it's not like I see maps of, if I saw a map of the French Empire or the Dutch Empire, right? I wouldn't be going on talking about the British Empire, like some kind of weird whataboutism. So I'm not insecure about this place. You know? But maybe if you're Spanish and your country's shit and it looks like shit and you've got shit food, maybe that's why you are fucking insecure. You know? I honestly think Spain is a shit place. I've been multiple times, I've eaten Spanish food, talked to Spanish people, not a fan of any of it, to be honest. I find Spanish people very rude, very dismissive. I find Spanish food very bland, very strange, not very nutritious. And the Spanish landscape is just boring. Even Tenerife, you know, Tenerife's a nice, lovely volcanic island, but it's boring as fuck, man. But yeah, I'm going to leave this one here anyway, because it's raining, my camera's getting wet. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Don't be mad, Spanish speakers, pussies.